All right, check. What's up, you guys? Let us know if you can hear us. It's been a couple weeks, at least for me. So, wanted to welcome everybody here to the show. If this is your first time here, this is Tech Support Live. This is a weekly show that we do every single Friday. So, if you guys got tech questions, either you need help setting up your router, your extender. Oh no! Let us know if you can hear us. A year and a half of doing this, and I still forget to mute myself.
Yep.
Okay. So if you guys got tech questions, you guys need help, you guys got something you need to resolve for whatever reason or other, you're trying to get better internet speeds, whatever it is, or you're just here to hang out, this is your space for 1 single hour every day, Friday, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock Pacific time. And again, if this is your first time here, my name's Angelo. I'll be your host for today. I'm the Senior Interactive Media Specialist here at NETGEAR, so I manage this YouTube channel, pretty much all of our live stream efforts, and I also do help manage the brand for Mural, Smart Art Frame. Really, honestly, I'm going to tell you, for Mural, we got a lot of really cool stuff cooking up. If you have a mural at home, I would even tell you right now, we got a new art channel that we're going to be slowly kind of announcing. So actually, if you have the Mural app, you could actually check it out. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. But all right, Ben, you are up next.
Oh, wow. Hey, it's been a couple weeks for me as well. I haven't been here in a couple weeks, so it's exciting to be here on this hard-hitting midday politics. Wait a minute, we're not a politics
Wrong show.
Wrong show. So on this hard-hitting networking show, I am the digital experience manager for a couple of different things, including Nighthawk Pro Gaming, and a couple services you might have heard called NETGEAR Armor and NETGEAR Smart Parental Controls. It's exciting to be here before this 3-day weekend, and there's not a lot of you guys on right now, which is really great for you guys because you can get your questions in early. Remember, this is an hour format, and we spend this couple of minutes trying to use up as much time as possible. So I'll kick it over to Michael.
Hey, everyone. I'm Michael, Technical Marketing Manager at NETGEAR. Anyone who's a regular knows me. I do a lot of tech stuff with our beta products. Used to work in support myself. Do a lot of trade shows when the world opens up. And in fact, I've got a few of them this year now that things are getting a little better. And looking forward to answering any questions you got. And now over to Darren.
I'm Darren. I'm a technical support specialist and community moderator. I cover support questions across our home networking products on the community and sometimes across social media. And we're here to answer your questions today.
All right, awesome. I see a couple comments here, like Dan, the whole crew. Apparently, we're the dream team here, the OGs. So again, hey, some of you guys have literally been sticking with us since the beginning. For everybody that's new here, we started this like right when we got into lockdown. So that's where I'm saying it's been a lot of months, over a year. So it's super dope to see that some of you guys have just kind of been here to hang out and just kind of join the fun. But again, we are also here to answer your tech questions. So in a way to kind of keep it productive, Ryan, I've seen your first name here in the chat. Our man Shady Joker is gonna ask, what's the best Wi-Fi extender I can use with my XR1000?
EX8000 is what I use. I've been using it since I had the XR500. It is a tri-band, which is nice, even though that the 1000 is not tri-band. But I use it, just with one channel as a backhaul and the other channel running 5 because I split all those things.
He could also go with the EAX80, which is a Wi-Fi 6 extender, since the XR1000 is a Wi-Fi 6 router.
That would probably be a little bit better, actually.
That's our top of the line extender.
There we go. Yeah, let's see. So Ryan, you were asking what's the best extender?
Best,
Darren. You are
Darren.
correct.
Darren
stole the show here.
Yep.
No, but yeah, honestly, either one of these would be great. So just to kind of drill it down for everybody here in the chat. So what Ben just first mentioned is the EX8000, which actually for a long time was our flagship. It's still a very powerful extender. But Darren makes a good point to essentially best use the Wi-Fi 6 technology. There's you're gonna want to look into actually probably the EAX80. I think just depending on your budget, and again, just to simply straight up answer Ryan's question, this is the best extender you could get for the XR1000s. It's Wi-Fi 6. It's our highest end. It's just pretty much going to pack the biggest punch when it comes to your home. If you're looking for something a little bit more on kind of like the medium range, maybe you want something you got a little bit less of budget, the EX20 is also a good,
Yeah,
it's
that's
good
a
option
good one too.
Yep.
because it's still Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah.
But again, if you want to pack the biggest punch, probably the EX80. You know, and I would say if you have the extra 500, that's where the EX8000 would be a really, really great choice. But
Yeah, I agree.
Since it's the
Yep.
what do we call it, the extra 1000, highly recommend EX80. You know what? I'm gonna drop it here in the chat just so everybody has it. So
Yeah, and you also, if you have any Wi-Fi 6 devices or planning on having any in the near future, you definitely want to get the EX80 for that Wi-Fi 6 support, because one of the advantages with Wi-Fi 6 is when you're connected up to it with your phone, your battery life on the connection between your Wi-Fi and your phone is not going to drain the battery as much.
Mhm.
And if you have a non-Wi-Fi 6 extender and you happen to accidentally connect to that in your home, then your battery is going to drain the same way that it normally would, because it doesn't have the extra Wi-Fi 6 capabilities they put in for battery longevity.
Absolutely. You know, personal experience. I mean, again, if anyone's a regular here, you guys kind of know what kind of setup I have. I have an REX 200. I won that at the holiday party. And I just set up my mural again. I guess, believe it or not, I've had my mural in this house, but it actually was not connected to internet. And I think when moving into this new but smaller apartment, actually has kind of helped. Like even when I was setting the mural up, and downloading art, it's like wicked fast actually. So again, like the real world use cases you get after upgrading to Wi-Fi 6, just really getting the most out of your internet, you just kind of like start kind of noticing these quality of life improvements. And hey, you know, it's just kind of like a surprise and delight kind of thing, at least when it comes to me. All
Yeah,
right.
I would you know, the either the 20 or the EAX80 or EXA20, definitely like the prices are really good right now. You're getting about $50 off.
Oh, yeah.
So I would snag either one of those.
Yeah, and you know, Ben does make a good point because if to get the best price, to get the fastest shipping, and to get the best support experience possible, highly recommend checking out buying direct from netgear.com. It comes straight from us, and that is where you're also going to get the first deals because they're on our doorstep, and then you guys are the first ones that get them. Either way, definitely go ahead and check that one out. Kieran, what's up? So yes, again, it's really cool to see. Kieran, you're here to just hang out. And again, we just love to see your guys' faces in the chat week by week by week. It's awesome. There is a question though. Best solution for getting the Ethernet switch to another location without wiring? That's a good question.
Powerline adapters.
Yep.
Yep.
And especially when you say a Ethernet switch, you're going to have it wired anyway because it's a switch. And Powerline is a great choice if you're on the same circuit within the location you're in. Like, for instance, most homes have at least like 2 circuits that control the home. And if both Powerline units, the sender and the receive units, are on the same circuit, you're going to get the optimal speeds through it. If they're on separate circuits, because those circuits are really meant to separate the 2 phases of power, you end up having much slower speeds going through the power line. So you really have to test to see whether it'll work in your situation. But it is a great way to get around without using Wi-Fi. I use it in my house, going from one room to another where I've got a TV wired up through Powerline, and it gets great speeds.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, and then just to kind of like throw you guys a little visual here. Yeah. So I don't know, Michael, if you have the same PL1200, but this
Why,
one,
yes, I do.
oh, awesome. Yeah, so it looks like that it literally does have like the Ethernet port on the bottom here. So
Yes.
should be just literally dead simple to just plug it in. I don't know, Michael, do you have it like, do you have the power line in the same plug where you have the TV? So it just literally, just
Nope.
one little short Ethernet
Nope.
cable?
I have the power line in another wall socket, and then the TV actually goes to a switch that then runs the whole entertainment center in the bedroom where it's at.
Oh,
And then the other side, I have the power line plugged into the network in my office, and that's where it then connects up to the main router. So yeah, it's just a straight line through. It's both on the same circuit, so I get full speeds through it, and it's a great way to wire things in when you don't want to use wireless.
that's perfect. Perfect. Kieran, I know there are a few options here. I actually did want to shout out. I'm going to kind of skip around here just for a bit. James Bond, not Powerline. Use a MoCA dongle. And also, he does have a follow-up question. What products do we have that incorporate MoCA technology? My first question is I don't even know much
What is
about.
MoCA?
Yeah, there you go. I knew what you were going to ask.
Yeah,
We did make some, right, Michael?
yes, we did actually have them. And what MoCA does is similar to what our power line does, where our power line is actually sending your signal, your network signals through the powered wires in your walls. What MoCA does is it sends it through your coax that's in your walls instead. Since most houses in the US have coax drops in every single room, you can hook up a MoCA adapter to one coax in one room, hook the MoCA adapter up in the other room, and then you can use those to connect to send signals through. The pluses of it over Powerline is you never have to worry about being on two phases in your power box, because MoCA is just using the standard coax cables. But the downside is that, well, there's a few of them. One is that if you put splitters in on your coax cables, which a lot of people do, that can affect the signal from the MoCA devices. If you have any line cleaners in there, things like that, same thing with the MoCA devices. And not everyone's house now has coax drops in all the rooms. That because so many people use wireless to do over-the-top streaming, it's not as popular as it used to be. NETGEAR used to make some MoCA devices, but because Powerline and other options like wireless were more popular, we pretty much have phased those out. There are some other manufacturers, though, that do make the devices.
I have a follow-up question, Michael. So how do you set up a network with MoCA? Like, if all your cable lines are coming out in a box somewhere, do you put all those cable lines on a splitter and a MoCA connector to the one place to send signal to, or do you put a MoCA connector on every one of them and run an Ethernet switch?
You'd put one on every one of them and then run an Ethernet switch. Yeah,
Okay.
basically you need, the MoCA actually is almost a true mesh network in the fact that every unit can talk to every other unit on your coax cable network. So if you have one in bedroom 1, 2, 3, and 4, all of those are going to be able to talk amongst each other, unless, of course, you have all those cables going into a single box on the other end. And then what you would do is most of the MoCA devices can also act as a pass-through. So if you have a main box there, you can put a MoCA in, have that as a pass-through, and then you'd be able to talk to all the rest of your devices. But it is very similar to Powerline, where they can all talk to each other on the same network.
Okay, that's what I was asking. I was asking on the other end if you had a cable box where you screw in all your rooms into one cable splitter, and then you put the MoCA device into that splitter.
I would instead have one MoCA device. Well, actually, let me think about that. Because the problem with the splitter is it could actually create some problems with your MoCA network.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if that's why it's kind of complex or not. Never really dealt with one.
Yeah, no, with MoCA, a lot of times people think of it as just point to point, where they have it plugged into the one coax in one room, connected to the coax in the other room. Going through splitters, it would really depend on the quality of the splitter and whether the splitter has any line cleaning on it, because like the Powerline devices, it's basically putting a carrier wave on top of the stuff that's already going through. And if it cleans that up, then it's basically removing that carrier wave with the data that you're trying to send through on the MoCA.
I want to float up this diagram. Like, I don't know if this is accurate. I think, Michael, if you have, it's probably going to be like 5-10 seconds of lag, but is this accurate? Like, is this what MoCA does? I know we got a question from Indy. I know we kind of also, Kieran, we just dove into a deep rabbit hole here. And, I think we're killing two birds with one stone here. Either way, hopefully the lag is gone. Michael, is this accurate? Like, can you see on the screen if
I'm waiting for it to pop up.
Oh, still. Okay, 20 seconds of lag, apparently. 20 seconds.
Let's see. Yes, that's exactly accurate. It's basically showing you've got your modem running into your MoCA adapter. So that's where it's getting its internet signal. Then you have your coax going from there to your coax connection to the wall that then goes over to your other MoCA device, and then that goes out to the TV. Now, so similar to what you do with your power devices, Powerline devices.
Now, here's my question. Coax is pretty hardy wiring.
Yep.
Anybody that's run things through walls knows that coax is way easier to run through a wall than, say, ether, right?
Yep.
And back in the day, a lot of houses that were adapted at least 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago for multiple, putting in multiple cable, for television, have coax running, from, where it comes into the house to where it comes in the living room or like a second bedroom or whatnot. That would make that because coax is usually specific for transferring like media.
Yep.
Would that signal be cleaner than, say, a power line, perhaps?
It possibly could be. And one additional thing that you get out of going through coax is that better shielded cables.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only real shielding that you've got on your standard Ethernet cables is you've got the twisted pairs there in the wiring. But other than that, there isn't much outside that's shielding it. But on a coax cable, if you've ever cut one open, you see there's all this braided shielding around the outside. So especially when you're running through walls, which have a lot of power cables running through and everything else, more shielding is better. So you would get a cleaner signal, except for the fact that the coax cables in the walls, if they were put in 20 years ago, the cables themselves might be getting a little old. And the older they get, the more resistance to signals going through. So you might see some degradation. But in general, yeah, that would be a cleaner one. And also with that image that Angelo brought up, to answer Darren's question, if you wanted to have a central hub, is you would have a switch with your Ethernet cables going from there to the individual MoCA devices
that are then
connected up.
Okay.
So that is another option to Powerline.
Yeah, and like, this is the advantage of listening in on a day where nobody's here. is we could do a deep dive into some of these weirder technologies, and still very, very viable to certain, probably to certain installation solutions. Not everybody has great. If you have newer electrical, then the power line is just going to probably be a better route. So you do have, once again, you do have options.
Yep. And I think, just to preface this, again, I think we got some new people here in the chat. I think especially learning from doing this for over a year and a half, I think we all like to kind of tinker in our own different kind of ways. I mess with emulator systems. Like, you guys do 3D printing and all these other things, right? And also a lot of people in the audience, you guys like to kind of do a little bit more, I guess, DIY kind of tiering stuff. So again, I think that hopefully if you guys like this, like, you know, we could just literally talk about this for God knows how long, especially when you get Michael going. Like, I swear, like, hopefully, again, if you guys find this valuable, I'm going to say it, throw a like, throw a subscribe, because I'm telling you, we are only here because you guys are in the chat asking us questions. And again, we'll just kind of geek out in our own certain different ways here. But hey, you know, if there's nobody in the chat, it's hard to keep the show going. So again, we really appreciate these kinds of questions, because we're gonna spill all the beans on everything.
Yeah, that was a fantastic question.
Perfect. So I did want to also get back to a few of the other questions here in terms of, I think, a couple product related things. So Ben, not just our Not Hyper Gamer, but then now Digital Experience Manager for Services. I know Christine, our girl in the sky, has already kind of thrown in a chat message in terms of smart parental controls on RBK 753. Just want to get your take on it. Do you know anything?
On if there's new stuff coming?
Updates on parental controls.
So I'll just say this. I can't say anything at this point in time, but I could probably say something later this month.
Boom. Awesome.
That's probably saying something without saying something.
There we go.
Makes sense. If you're picking up what I'm laying down, it's like in a weird way, like almost being like a number station. 14, 23, 5, 6.
Being subtle, really subtle.
You're extremely subtle right now. If I could wink, I would give you a wink right now, but I can't.
Yes,
really
exactly.
Me look bad.
So check in later this month.
There we go. Awesome. Thank you. So hopefully Darren in the chat, that answers your question here. All right. So we got Indy. I'm not sure if I've seen your name here. Maybe if you've joined Alex hosting. But hey, welcome to the show. Either way, Indy's asking best internet mods to use for XR. Is that 18? Is that 1000? Is that 500? Which one is that? How would you guys perceive that question?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what Indy's asking about best internet mods. One, which product specifically,
yes.
And what they mean about internet mods.
Are you talking about the AX 1100? Are you talking about the AX 6000?
I think he's maybe talking about the gaming router apps.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't know. Come back with a little bit more specific question, and we'll answer it as best we can.
Nice.
Yep.
Pick your best secured service for remote access to computer one late.
There we go. Yeah. So Indy, welcome to the show. I see you are new. So hey, hopefully we'll be able to kind of just have some fun here and answer any of the questions you got. But yeah, want to throw out your next one. So best secured service for remote access computer to computer, one location to another location. That's interesting. You're trying to remotely access other computers. Legally, right?
Hopefully so.
Oh, XR18 mixer. You guys know what that is?
XR18 mixer. No,
Mixer. Modem?
Pop it up and see.
Let's throw it up. Let me know if you find anything.
Next.
You also skipped over a question for Ben. Kieran and Warrior One are asking for XR1000 updates.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ben. Hot
Also, I can't say anything at this. I don't have any news at this point in time. But there is a new firmware that is being worked on, and I don't have when that's going to come through the schedule. So let's check in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Not to sound Trumpian, but 2 weeks and we'll have a plan. No, but check back in 2 weeks and I'll have a better picture of when that is. There's some outside forces that are sort of restricting our QA at the moment, and so once that gets kind of straightened out, we'll have a better idea.
Perfect. If you guys have learned so far, we would love to give you all these questions, but we also don't want to get fired. So that's why we give you these answers that are hopefully answers, but are kind of hint, hint.
And also, as a former press secretary no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm trying to give you as best of answers as I could possibly give you. But as soon as I know, you guys will know. And the other thing is we are aware that just want to really kind of put this out there that we are listening to you guys. We know that you guys want these firmwares. We really want to give them to you. There's been a bit of some struggle, due to certain resources and certain environmental factors and pandemics and whatnot. And so it's not that we don't care about the XR500 or 700 or the features on the XR 1000. We do. It's just it's been a difficult period for Nighthawk Pro Gaming. So I do appreciate you guys sticking by us. We are trying to get all that stuff out as quickly as we can. It's just been a challenge.
Cool. And hey, again, this is your best venue to get the best direct answers to whatever questions you guys got. Ben, you've been a part of us since like the birth of Nighthawk Pro Gaming, so you can't really ask a better person for these kinds of questions.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna give you the straight dope. I'm not gonna I'll give you what I can say, and for most part, most people know my reputation. I don't BS. So, so as soon as I know, you guys will know. But we are really trying to get that stuff out.
Sweet. So hey, I just wanted to. Now we kind of got the questions going, and I know how this works. I don't want to go too much of a rapid fire at the end here. Just to follow back up, I know we got the X1000 updates in here, but Indy, best service for remote access. That's kind of a little bit out of our realm. I'm not sure if that's necessarily a hardware question, but you guys have any thoughts on how to help Indy out?
I would most likely, if you're looking for not a secured service in particular, but look at client-to-client VPN like OpenVPN. And that's, one way you might be able to get a nice secure connection between two remote computers. But that's what you're going to be looking for, is some way to do client-to-client VPN connections.
Cool. And again, we're actually just about at the halfway point. So, Indy, I know that you're new to the space here, but if you got any follow-up questions, we'd be happy to answer them all the way to the end of the show at 1 o'clock Pacific time. Sticks, wanted to get to your question here. I had to disable UPnP, and it does stabilize my WAN a little more, but it still resets. My R8000 does not have WAN resets, and it's very stable. I'm kind of curious, Sticks, what kind of product are you disabling UPnP on?
Yeah, which product is it?
Yeah, Sticks, if you're in the chat here, throw us some sticks. throw us a little bit more information. Oh wait, hold on.
I did scroll down, but I didn't see any comments on the particular model.
I think trying to figure out if it's the firmware issue or hardware issue. Sticks, what products? I know the R8000 you mentioned is working pretty well, but we're trying to figure. Let's troubleshoot the product that you currently got going. And once we get that question, we will directly go back. But in the meantime, until you're back here, I wanted to get to Razer 2048. I wonder, will there ever be a way to add other data sources to Mural, like Grafana or other dashboards that can be pulled up with a gesture? That is a really dope idea. I mean, I can't tell you that, the API.
Now it's Angelo's turn to dance on the landmine.
Now I'll be geeking out. So yeah, my kind of role in Mural has been increasing in the last few months here. So what I'll tell you is that API is relatively kind of closed off in terms of trying to kind of tinker with your Mural is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. I can't say do this, do that, because that's not my realm here. But in terms of where we are currently focused on, right now we're doing a lot of stuff within NFTs, and actually we are integrating with a couple other really cool services that I can't really talk about yet. So that's kind of what's happening in the product side. But hey, again, I'm kind of like your, I guess, like pretty much token digital experience manager for Mural. So if these ideas are something that you, a lot of other people in the chat and just kind of in general, like there's a lot of buzz about this kind of stuff. That's stuff that I do want to know. And that's stuff that I could float onto the product team because again, we got a lot of really exciting stuff brewing at the moment. But I think that Mural is kind of one of those products here that there's a lot of potential, I think, to kind of really open it up. I mean, I think that we're seeing a lot of like we literally talked about MoCA for like at least like 15 minutes. But hey, you know, if there's ways that you want to do X, Y, or Z on your Mural, again, I would love to hear it. The other thing I would kind of mention here, Razor 2048. I mean, I know you've been a part of our show for a bit, but just so everybody else in the chat is aware, there is the idea exchange forum here. And again, this is probably, besides this stream, this is also a really good avenue to kind of get these kind of questions, or like, let's say requests in. So if you throw an idea in here, let's say, hey, I want to see Grafana integrated on Mural. And again, you know, we can do our best to float this up to the team here. And I think kind of from what you could get and what we've also mentioned before, our team isn't necessarily super, we're not like a super huge, like crazy large firm where we're all numbers here, where we actually work very closely with each other in terms of product side and us and on the live stream team. So again, these are things that we could float up. But if you want to throw that in here, and if it does get enough upvotes, it goes directly to the product team to discuss. So that I'm just going to throw that out there just for not only you, but for anybody else who's watching the show, in case that you guys want to see something. But awesome. Hopefully, Razor, I answered your question. If I have time later on the show, I'll kind of show you a little bit of what we're brewing up because I think it's super dope, and that's something that we were working on very hard this week. But that's only if we have time at the end. So I want to make sure we do get to enough of these questions here. Which one's the next question?
I think down James Bond asked, how about creating a combo MoCA/Wi-Fi router?
Oh, yes. When we're talking about MoCA.
Yeah, it sounds good, but I can say most likely not, because you'd not only be creating that, you'd also want to be creating the adapters that go along with it. And I know as far as NETGEAR, our adapter business is very, very small. We focus more on the other side of things. So the odds are there's not enough of a draw for that, but you can put it in that ideas link that Angelo talked about. And if enough people wanted it, then maybe one of the product managers would pick it up. But since I worked with the MoCA stuff when it was alive at NETGEAR and slowly disappeared, it was a very, very small segment.
So yeah, we used to do it.
Yes, we used
to.
You got stories.
I don't know that the common person is aware that you can use that technology to run internet throughout your house. Like not many people are probably aware that they can do that. So it's probably not easy to sell to the public.
And Razor also did bring up an important thing, is that whenever you run through splitters, if you try running your signal through a splitter, it's definitely going to suffer reduced performance. Because you figure, like, if you have a 4-way splitter, basically it's dropping that signal down to 1/4 for each one of the connections. And so your signal strength definitely can go down if you're using splitters as well. And he also mentioned something which I do normally, but I don't even think a lot of people think about, is if you're using splitters for anything, including connecting TVs, that sort of thing with coax, always terminate any of the ends on the splitters that don't have any thing connected to them. And you can terminate them. There's just little metal termination caps that you screw on, because otherwise you get a lot of random bounce back feedback from these open-ended pieces on your splitter. So just an FYI if you have any of those around the house. And you can pick up the caps on them on Amazon really cheap.
Nice.
That's a good point.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, I learned everything. We've been doing this for a while. I learned so much about MoCA that I don't think I've learned about in my life. So I'm gonna tell you that. Hey, I'm learning as much as everybody here in the chat is. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to go about this kind of stuff. But again, like, we'd love to kind of talk with you guys in terms of just simply how to get the best internet experience possible, whether it's MoCA, whether it's Powerline, whether it's an extender or like mesh. You know, we're here for you guys. Sticks, I see you back in the chat. We need to know what product you have. Hold on. The follow-up was I went back to 10 or 152, and I still had to disable port scan and DOS protection because I was flooded by DOS by my own ISP IPs. Okay, Sticks. What product? That's gonna help me out. To help everybody else on the team, what else do you need from Sticks to get them the answers they need?
Just I don't know what product he was talking about, so
Nice.
that's the key. And then Warrior One has an interesting question. It's like, can you guys copy and paste the QoS from the R2 on the XR1000 for some reason? The thing is NetDuma is the one that's developed the Doom OS for the 1000. So direct your rage to NetDuma. I don't know why the R2's QoS seems you think that it's working better. Just look at the technical stats between the two products, and the XR1000 has a heck of a lot more headroom for that sort of processing.
Sticks is back. XR1000.
Yeah. So yeah. That's a question to take up with NetDuma. We are not the software writers for the QoS. That's NetDuma's side.
For sure.
Sticks is having problems with the UNP, universal plug and play.
Yeah. Question again?
I think
Mods?
Sticks is trying to set up UPnP on their XR1000. I had to disable it to stabilize my WAN. Oh, I think he's having reset issues. There we go. We've gotten it.
Factory reset. That's what I would do. Let's start off with
you have
that.
the latest firmware too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Try the latest firmware, and again, and if you can, I don't know if you're part of the beta program, but try to go into like the latest like official firmware. That's gonna be the most stable one for you. And again, just pro tip: you could totally just reset your router and then reset it back up with the same Wi-Fi name and credentials that you used initially, and all your devices just reconnect automatically. So it shouldn't hopefully destroy anything that you got going on, especially if you got a pretty comprehensive, complex network.
Yeah, it Sticks. If you try a factory reset and you're still having reboot issues, we may need to work with you and have support directly work with you on maybe if it's a hardware issue, we can get you an RMA or something like that.
Yeah, that would be the best place to start, and then come back if you're still having issues, and we'll try to help you out a little bit deeper. But that's perfect. The WAN stabilization. That's really weird. But the thing is you think about it. These devices are manufactured devices, and even if you have a failure rate of 0.001%, which is, in the manufacturing world would be a wonderful failure rate. That's still like 1 out of 1,000 units has something wrong with it. It's just a matter of the manufacturing process. I mean, not everything, how many times have, you build something where you're like, you need to put the nail where you're putting it, and it, goes, look at your IKEA furniture. How many times have you built that and something's gone wrong? So with that, with any sort of manufactured device, there's going to be some weird ones.
He did do a factory reset. So Sticks, send us an email. Christine posted our email in the chat. Send us an email. We'll get support to work with you further if it's still a resetting issue.
Yep.
And for everyone else, if you're not looking in the chat, it's netgearteam@netgear.com is the email that Christine posted. So you'll see that in the chat, and that's how you can contact us, and we can work with you a little more directly.
Yep. And then, again, like what Michael mentioned, is a direct line to us, and then we'll be able to kind of get you that support that you need. Again, we're kind of like, I guess, like a feeder to all these other questions. Even if they go beyond the show, happy to work with you for whatever questions, situations that you're into. And also, we also do this every Friday, so you can also join us next week in case that, I don't know, you got a follow-up, you got an update for us, like whatever it is, happy to help where we can. Do want to make sure we do get to all the questions, and also I did want to greet. We got Vanessa Kitty and we got Hamad, I think, just joining us here in the chat. You don't got to apologize for being late. We just love to see your faces every single week. So super dope to see you guys back here. And also Jake Ryder is going to adopt a kitty. So
Nice.
So hopefully, Jake, you're going to enjoy the kitty. And Vanessa's got a 23-year-old kitty.
Wow.
Is that old?
Wow,
old,
that's an
isn't it?
old cat.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, my God. 28-year-old cat?
Yeah,
Vanessa,
some of
man.
them can live long.
That's
Mhm.
that's awesome. Oh my God, that's really cool to hear. 95-year-old who walked his 28-year-old cat on a leash. That's insane. In Arizona.
Yeah, that's even crazier.
That's nuts. All right. Hey,
You
Darren.
heard it first here. So
Boom. You heard it here first. We love to hear it. Okay, so just a little bit earlier in the show, we got a couple questions from Darren Tong and also one from Life Experience. I have not seen your name here yet. So let's go. Okay, Life Experience, you're first technically. So best router to cover 2,000 square foot. Let's go.
Well, right off the top of my head, I'd say the XR1000 because it's an awesome router and it does have a lot of coverage. But it's really going to depend a lot on where the router actually sits in the house. If you're in a far corner on a 2,000 square foot house, chances are you're probably going to need a mesh range extender added into that as well. The closer to the
Right.
center of the house, the better it is for full coverage off of the single unit. But my favorite is the XR1000 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
that would be my choice. And the interesting thing, I'm really curious because like I've had mine and I've had no problems whatsoever with it. In fact, I've had less problems with my 1000 than I did with my 500.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the XR 1000, it does everything that you're going to want, and Wi-Fi 6. So if you're looking at a single router, not a mesh system, I would go with that.
Yep. And if you need to add a mesh extender in there, you can get one of the Nighthawk mesh extenders and add it to the system.
Yeah, we just talked about that earlier today. EAX80
Boom.
would be the one.
So my suggestion, honestly, I mean, I don't know life experience with a heart emoji. I'm not sure if you literally meant you only want one router. But either way, if you were interested in mesh, because I think mesh is the best solution when you're primarily trying to fix or accomplish or get the most range. Because you say 2,000 square feet, I would assure you, if because I'm gonna cheat here because I get the power and I can show you what I'm talking about. Any of our Orbi systems or the Nighthawk mesh systems, if you are interested in mesh, this would easily cover 2,000 square feet. And just the way how it simply works, especially if you kind of go, let's see, we got this cool new web page we were working so hard on. This should kind of very easily kind of visualize like how mesh really works. And if you're really trying to cover range here, you set up a router here, or sorry, like yeah, you set up your router here, you can set up a satellite here, maybe another satellite there. That's how mesh accomplishes your, let's say, issue of bad range. So hey, if you're interested in this, I mean, I would definitely say, let me go back here. Orbi Wi-Fi 6, I would say definitely consider something at this point, a Wi-Fi 6 system, whether it's a router or a mesh system. It's got to be Wi-Fi 6 if you want the best experience possible. Orbi Wi-Fi 6 is our top of the line here, but if you want maybe something that doesn't, maybe got a lower budget, or maybe you just want just one router, one satellite, Nighthawk Mesh is also a very great solution. But that's all I'm going to say here. I know we're almost down to our last 14 minutes. Okay, Sticks, before he sends off an email to NETGEAR team, did want to bring up, I had to disable port scan DOS protection because I was flooded by DOS attacks from my own ISP servers. How's that work?
That's bizarre that you're
think?
getting flooded by attacks from your own ISP.
What do you guys think? Is that bad? That sounds bad, right?
That,
Well, it's unlikely, and it is possible that someone is spoofing your ISP's one of their IP addresses when they're
Yep.
doing the DOS attack against you.
Mm.
But the good thing is, if your router is actually stopping all the DOS attacks, then you're fine. And usually, you find it out by going look in the logs in your router and see that one IP address just keeps pinging you.
Yep.
Normally, it's not something you have to worry about unless they have a lot of systems that are hammering you at the same time, and then that will clog up your connection. But pings from just a single system, chances are you're not going to have to worry about it because your router is just basically blocking them.
Hey, you may want to just reset your modem. Some tool might be pinging the modem for some information. I know when I worked at an ISP, we had stuff that would ping the modems and look for stuff, and maybe it just is stuck in a loop trying to ping the same thing.
Yep. Or the modem isn't responding back, so it just keeps trying.
Right.
Yeah, very interesting situation to be in. But yeah, I definitely think the modem might be kind of having a hand here. Yeah, but the DOS attacks are shutting my internet down.
Then that means they're really getting hammered with a lot. And if it is coming from an IP address from your service provider, I'd contact the service provider because they can not only check their systems, but they can check your modem from their side to see what's going on.
Yeah, that would be a good start of that investigation, is call your ISP. Because one, if maybe they're trying to install new firmware into your modem and that's being shown as an attack, it could be something that's stuck in a loop. There also could be somebody doing an attack on you. I don't know why, but you can then clarify whether or not it's actually coming from your ISP.
Yeah. This could be part of his main issue. Maybe he needs to talk to his ISP and see if they're doing it. If not, maybe get them to switch his IP address so they can whatever attacks can stop happening.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely, Sticks, let us know. Just give us all the details at netgearteam@netgear.com. I think that's going to be kind of just good to just get as much information as we can. But yeah, definitely something is kind of fishy here with the ISP stuff. And it's kind of hard, right? That's kind of like the thing with networking and why we do the thing that we do every single Friday here. Is that it's very easy to place the blame on either or parties, but that's just kind of the nature of just the space here. It could be something with the router. It could be some, I don't know, like we've always thought about bad cables. It could be something something that we haven't even pinpointed yet, right?
This seems like if you're saying that it's coming from your ISP, get on the phone and talk to them.
Yeah, and they'll definitely be able to.
And just to eliminate them from the suspect list.
Awesome. All right, we're down to 10 minutes, and as much as I thought we would have, time and time again has showed that I fail at preventing rapid fire questions. But Darren Tong wanted to make sure that you got your question answered. Problems connecting 2.4 devices to my RBK 753. Will I have problems with Arlo I have problems with Arlo doorbell cams. Also, will you in the future allow an additional SSID that's 2.4 and not have those changes global?
Yep.
Hold on, let me translate. Okay, no. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, what he's asking is currently he's having problems connecting 2.4 some of his 2.4 devices to his 753. I'm assuming either connecting or having stability staying on there, which is a known problem that we've seen with people with IoT devices connecting up to any sort of mesh system like the Orbi, because those devices are pretty dumb and sometimes they won't always stay on the 2.4, and that's the only band that they want to work on. As far as Arlo doorbell cams, you'd have to actually test. If you want to completely eliminate that problem, what you do is buy the Arlo base station. And that way, the cameras are just talking to the base station's wired into your network, and that eliminates any of the problems with those actually talking to your Orbi system. And in fact, if I flip this around here and show you over in the corner there's an Arlo base station. So that's an easy way to fix that. As far as us adding additional SSID that's 2.4 only, that would be a great solution. On the Orbi systems, Maybe, maybe not. I know this has been a request for people to be able to have the 2.4 separated out in the past, but that kind of defeats the idea of what Orbi is, which is supposed to be the Apple idea of a mesh system, which is set it, forget it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to be a techie to be able to go, oh, I got to connect to this band or that band. If you want to have separate SSIDs and still have a mesh system, then you go with the Nighthawk mesh.
Yep.
And you can turn off the mesh portion of it so that you have two separate SSIDs. It'll still act like a mesh system, but you get your 2.4 and your 5 gigahertz. So you can take care of these IoT devices that just aren't really smart enough to be able to stick to the band that they need.
And Buddy does have a good follow-up here, saying, seems to me the definition of mesh has changed from its original intention. It was a way to have multiple Wi-Fi units that were all in the same SSID. Now it's just used for what I call range extenders. Mesh kept the client connected to the same SSID without having to log out and log back in to the closest Wi-Fi device, as well as extend the range because all Wi-Fi devices were hardwired back then. And that's exactly what Orbi's supposed to do. So that's kind of why, especially with, like, again, everybody has a different kind of use case. And like what Michael mentioned, and Betty, like your original kind of vision of what mesh is, that's exactly what Orbi's supposed to be. You set it, you forget it, and you have one Wi-Fi name. You can walk across your house, do a FaceTime call, and never worry about getting dropped or having to log back into underscore ext on the range extender. You know what I mean? Nope. Like, that's what it was really supposed to kind of prevent here. But again, we're in the middle of that firefight because some people want to split up the 2.4 and the 5, which technically, yes, like, that'd be a great feature, but on Orbi, that, again, kind of defeats that purpose, right? So Nighthawk Mesh, to my understanding, does have that feature. Hopefully, though, Darren, we're able to at least kind of fix your connectivity issues a little bit here. Was there any kind of, like, advice here to kind of help him out in terms of solving the problems connecting 2.4 devices on Orbi?
Unfortunately, no, because there's so many IoT 2.4 devices out there, and some work better than others, and there isn't anything you can do in the Orbi to actually fix that.
Yeah, I would say, okay, my best kind of suggestion is if you do have this capability to kind of like troubleshoot kind of one product at a time here. So let's say with the doorbell, like, if you're able to kind of like reduce the amount of like 2.4 devices kind of connecting, just make sure that, hey, make sure your doorbell works first. And then after that, you can start kind of going to your Echoes and then just kind of slowly, kind of gradually adding back your IoT devices. That's kind of where I would get with kind of tinkering with it. Also location. Sometimes that's the tricky thing with Orbi and like kind of just mesh is like, sometimes you're not exactly sure which device is connecting to which satellite. But let's say, I don't know, maybe you could kind of adjust the satellites. Maybe if you're able to kind of move the base station. I don't know if this is actually, do you want to move your base station closer or farther away? Wait, to prevent interference. It's a paradox.
Between what, the satellite or the base station, are you saying the interference between the two of those?
Because I'm thinking, can you get the base station to be closer to the doorbell and then move the satellite closer to the doorbell with the Arlo base station? Does that make sense? Like, would that help?
Basically, you're trying to make the doorbell connect up to the base station instead of one of the satellites.
Yes.
Yeah, essentially.
Yep, but normally your internet connection's in one place where your base station's going to be, and your doorbell's always going to be at your door.
Yeah. So here, fundamentally, try connecting one IoT device at a time, troubleshoot those issues. And then you could also experiment with the location of your satellites and all these devices that are talking to each other. Again, like smart homes, they get pretty complex depending on how many IoT devices you got connected at one time. But just general advice, experiment with location and tinker one at a time. That's
and there is one other solution if you really want to just, hack the thing, is toss another router into the mix and have your IoT devices connect to that router, and everything else uses your Orbi system. And that way, the IoT devices are happy. They've got something that has a dedicated 2.4 that they'll always connect to, and the rest of the stuff in your house can connect up to your Orbi system. And you can't have both of those running at the same time, because that's what I've got in my house. I've got the standard Wi-Fi network, and then I've also got an Orbi system piggybacked off of it.
Wow. And you would just wire connect to the router as a separate router with a separate SSID. And then with that, you would shut off, if it was Smart Connect capable, shut off the Smart Connect, just run the 2.4 network off of it to run all of the IoT devices.
Yep.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
All right, we have like 3 minutes left, and we used to pride ourselves so much on not missing a question. But again, I want to get to as many questions as possible. And again, unfortunately, if we do not have time to answer your question at the end here, we do the show every Friday. So 2 more minutes. Okay. So James Bond, should I get a Wi-Fi 6 router or Wi-Fi 6E? Do you think Wi-Fi 6E is giving hardwire a run for its money? It's a great question.
Well, quick answer for that. It depends. If you're planning on getting Wi-Fi 6E devices, sure, no reason not to get a Wi-Fi 6E router, but it's never going to give hardwire a run for its money, because like with all of Wi-Fi, the higher you get up in frequency, the less it's going to penetrate walls. So we're going from 5 gigahertz on Wi-Fi 6 to 6 gigahertz on Wi-Fi 6E, which means its range is going to be that much less. So hardwiring is always going to be there. It's how it actually gets from point A to point B and doesn't worry about the amount of walls that are in between.
So simply based on physics, yes, hardwire will always be king, but based on your actual use case and how you use your devices, how you use your network, like me, I can't hardwire. So really, getting the best wireless is kind of my prerogative, and that's how I live my life. And that's kind of it. All right, Dan, if you do a factory reset, do you go back to the preset password and firmware? Yes.
If you do a factory reset, you have the original username and password on there.
But you don't go back firmware.
Right, you don't go back firmware. You always stay at the same firmware, but it will set it back to the factory default username and password. And if it doesn't, then that means that factory reset didn't actually go all the way through.
All right, Carbon, what is the best single wireless router solution you guys could offer? Raxi 500?
Yeah, Rax.
200. Yeah. So that's technically Wi-Fi 6E. That's just the most powerful router that we do have, and it's on the next standard, which is Wi-Fi 6E. And again, we're gonna get these questions, but it is relatively early. So, and that's what happened with Wi-Fi 6. We push out the Wi-Fi 6 routers first. The manufacturers come next to integrate the chip. I believe. What's the rumor? I think there's a Samsung phone that has Wi-Fi 6E, and then a few others coming out later this year. All right, I'm almost there. Razor, is it possible for a Wi-Fi extender working with a Wi-Fi router to implement 802.11v and 802.11r when it comes to client roaming between the two APs? Who can answer that in negative 15 seconds?
I have not looked into those standards yet.
802.11v, 802.11r. I don't even know those standards.
Those are some oddball, like specific things, I'm guessing.
Oh man, what is that?
And if it's
oh my god.
Yep, I'd actually have to read up on those as well.
Yeah, so stay tuned for next week where we'll have an answer.
Okay, well, 802.11r at least is designed to help clients roam more quickly from one AP to another.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god. All right, hey, look, again, we used to pride ourselves on never being stumped. Razor, you stumped us.
Well, actually, his question, the answer would be, is it possible? Yeah, it is possible.
Okay,
they would have to implement that in the extenders and the router. But yeah, it's just one more additional protocol to make it easier for the handoffs, to make it faster.
Never mind. We keep our streak. We did not get stumped yet, I think. Okay, either way, that's it for our show today. I wanted to thank everybody, especially for everybody who was new to the show today. Thank you for coming. Amandeep, I did want to kind of shout you out. Yes, this is a live chat. Join us every single Friday, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock Pacific time for a live chat, where we answer all your questions when it comes to tech support and everything.
We certainly try to answer all your questions.
We tried. So hopefully we did a good enough job today. And if we did, please drop that like, please drop a subscribe, and otherwise we will see you guys next week.
And have a good holiday, and everybody
stay safe and don't use fireworks.
Yes, please. If you're on the West Coast, man, keep our air clean.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. We will see you guys next week. Peace out.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.